So friends, in the third lecture of lecture series on probability distribution, we will see here in this class about the normal distribution. So we have already discussed in detail regarding the binomial distribution and Poisson distribution. Now with this concept about the distribution, we will be seeing today the normal distribution. So I have already mentioned that probability distribution is for two type of variables, that is for discrete variables and for continuous variables. So in discrete variables we had seen about the binomial distribution and Poisson distribution. Today we will be discussing about the continuous variable, and that is governed by the normal distribution. So for that, first of all, I would like to introduce the concept of continuous random variable. So we have already seen what is random variable, and we have seen the discrete random variable. So similar to discrete random variable, but quite converse to that, the continuous random variable has an infinite number of possible values. So this has infinite number of possible values, whereas in discrete random variable we had seen that the possible values were finite. So it has infinite number of possible values that can be represented by an interval on the number line. So here you can see in this example, the time spent studying can be any number between 0 to 24. So in a day there are 24 hours, and if you want to know how much time was spent on studying, so it can be given on a timeline, but the value will vary any value from 0 to 24. Now, the probability distribution of continuous random variable is the normal distribution, and this distribution is also known as continuous probability distribution, as the name suggests. Now something we'll see something about the discoverers of normal distribution. So what is the normal distribution? First of all, we'll see the definition of normal distribution. So it is a probability distribution of continuous variable. We have already discussed that it is a property of continuous variable in which the observations are distributed symmetrically. So here the observations are distributed symmetrically, and that symmetrical distribution is around the mean. And when graphed, a normal distribution appear as a bell-shaped curve. So we will see the bell-shaped graph of this normal distribution in the next slide. And let us see some history. It was first described by Abraham de Moivre in 1733, and after discovery, around 50 years, the discovery was not utilized, but it was again rediscovered by Gauss in 1809 and Laplace in 1812, and then the importance of this normal distribution come into the picture. If you see the Y.J. Udon, who was contemporary to Gauss and Laplace, to emphasize the importance of normal distribution, he wrote something on the paper, and to emphasize, he written the things in the form of normal distribution. What he has written? He has written, the normal law of error stand out in the experience of mankind as one of the broadest generalization of natural philosophy. So this normal distribution is the broadest generalization of natural philosophy. It serves as a guiding instrument in researches in the physical and social science and in medicine, agriculture and engineering. It is an indispensable tool for the analysis and interpretation of the basic data obtained by observation and experiment. So he was of view that many of the observations that we are getting or we are obtaining after an experiment can be explained with the normal distribution. Actually, at that time, when the law of this Abraham de Moivre was rediscovered, an effort was made that people were thinking that everything can be explained with the normal distribution, but this was not correct. Later on, few more distributions were discovered, but still you can say that 90% of the distribution, 90% of the natural phenomena can be explained with the help of normal distribution. Now, what is the properties? So there are many properties. We will see first what is the function, probability density function of this normal distribution. So fx is the probability distribution function of this normal distribution. It can also be represented by z, which is an ordinate or height. Z indicates the height of the ordinate of a curve. So it can be given by 1 by sigma that is standard deviation, under root 2 pi into e raised to minus 1 by 2 square of x minus mu, that is mean, divided by standard deviation. So this is the basic function of functional formula of normal distribution. Here you can note the constant value of pi we know and value of e we have already discussed when we were discussing about the Poisson distribution. So this sigma and mu, that is mean and standard deviation, it determines the shape of the curve, or these two values are responsible for the bell-shaped curve that we will be seeing in the next slide. The bell-shaped curve with different center and spread depending on mu and sigma. Here I have already discussed that fx is equal to z, which indicates the height of ordinate of the curve, which represents the density of the item. So how much density, what are the items are included in this normal distribution graph? What is the density of distribution that is determined with this formula? There are two parameters of normal distribution. These two parameters I have already told you. The mu is the population mean, and the parameter and the standard deviation, the parametric standard deviation, ST, sigma. So mu and sigma are the two important parameters of normal distribution which determine the shape and distribution, shape of the distribution, location and shape of the distribution. Now this is the curve. Here you can say the normal curve. Theoretically, a normal distribution extends from negative infinity to positive infinity. Theoretically, it can extend from negative infinity to positive infinity. So, if somebody is asked what is the range of normal distribution, so it will be negative infinity to positive infinity. So, but the problem is that the normal curve is not a single curve. Why it is not a single curve? Because the mean and standard deviation may vary. So it is the family of curve. If you change the mean, the curve will change. If you change the standard deviation, it will change the curve. So here you can see the changing mu. If you are changing mean, then it may shift either to right or left. And if you are changing the sigma, that is standard deviation, then also it will change the spread. That means it can reduce the height. If standard deviation is high, the height of the curve will be less. So this will be increasing or decreasing the spread. And here you can see for different mean and standard deviation, different curves are there. So the normal curve is not a single curve, but it is a family of curve, each of which is determined by its mean and standard deviation. So I will be telling in the latter part of this lecture why I am emphasizing that normal distribution is a group of curve, not a single curve. So here you can see the properties of normal distribution. The curve, you can see the important property of this normal distribution curve is that the curve will never touch the baseline. It will never touch the baseline. Here by mistake I have touched it, but it is never touched. the curve will never touch the baseline, and if it will not touch the baseline, it will run parallel to the baseline, and it is assumed that two parallel lines will meet at infinity. So here what I wanted to say, that if you take plus minus standard deviation from mean, then it encompasses 68.26% of the observation. Here also you can see 68.26%. If you are taking plus minus 2 standard deviation, that means up to here plus minus 2 standard deviation, then it will include 95.45% of the data, for 95.45% of the data. And if you are taking the 3 standard deviation, plus minus 3 standard deviation, that is up to here, then it will include 99.73% of the data. So this is how we are describing the distribution density of the normal distribution curve. So it is assumed that in plus minus 3 standard deviation, almost all the data will fall in the normal distribution curve. Then another property is the curve is bell-shaped. We have already seen. Unimodal, that means there will be only single mode. That means there will be only one peak in the normal distribution curve. And symmetrical around the mean. If you cut the graph around the mean, there will be two symmetrical portions you will get. The mean, median and mode of a normally distributed curve are all at the same point. So in normal distribution curve, the property is that the mean, median and mode will fall at same point. The tail of the curve tapers towards the baseline on both the sides asymptotically because they don't touch the baseline. So it will not touch the baseline. We have already discussed. Now the percentage of items in normal distribution, that also I have told you. Mu plus minus 1 standard deviation, 68.26%. Due to some mistake, the symbols are not visible. Then mu plus minus 2 standard deviation, it will encompass 95.45%, and mu plus minus 3 standard deviation, it will include 99.73% of the observation. This is many times this data will be asked in your examination. So you have to remember this data. This is important data. Many of the objective questions in competitive examinations also you will be asked these type of questions. Now in opposite way also you can be asked that how much curve, or if you see the data, how much percentage or 50% of the data will come under which area of the curve. So here for that convenience I have listed few of them. The 50% of the data will be included in mu plus minus 0.674. 0.674 means 0.36, around 0.3. So 0.3 this side, 0.3 this side. So this is the mu plus minus 0.674. So if somebody is asking what area of the curve will include 50% of the items or 50% of the observation, so it is mu, that is mean mu. The mu plus minus 0.674. Then what about 95% of the data? So it will be mu plus minus 1.96%, and similarly 99% of the data will be included in mu plus minus 2.576 standard deviation. 2.576 standard deviation. So this is for your convenience. You can determine anything, any of 25% of data or 70% of data or 80% of the data. But these are the things that are commonly used in the competitive examination. That is why I have listed these 3 points here. Then the coefficient of skewness in a normal curve is 0. So in normal curve you will get 0 coefficient of skewness, while the coefficient of kurtosis is 3. So in normal curve the coefficient of skewness is 0 and kurtosis is 3. The first and third quartile are equidistant from the median. So in normal distribution you have to remember that first and third quartile, I have already told you what are the quartiles. So this first and third quartile will be equidistant from the median. Now another property is the height of the normal distribution curve is maximum at its mean. Height of the normal distribution curve will be maximum at mean. So height will be maximum at mean, we have already seen. It means that mean ordinates divides the curve into two equal parts, that is the curve is symmetrical. If you split it around the mean, it will be getting converted into two parts. Then another point, the point of inflection. The point of inflection means the point from where the curve changes its direction are each at a distance of 1 standard deviation from the mean of distribution. It will be at the distance of 1 standard deviation from the mean of the distribution. If you want to see, I will see you again. So this is the curve. This is the curve. So this is the point of inflection. This is the point of inflection. Point of inflection. So it will be located in the plus minus 1 standard deviation. So this is the point of inflection that you have to remember. This is the property of normal distribution curve. Now what are the applications? So it forms the basis of test of significance. So I will be discussing about the test of different kind of test of significance in the coming lectures. So it will be more clear at that time. But you remember that this forms the basis of test of significance. Why it forms the basis of test of significance? If you want to test whether your particular data will be falling in the normal distribution curve. If it is falling in the normal distribution curve, so you can test whether your data is normal or it is having some difference. So that is the basis of test of significance. It is widely used in the planning of experiment. So experiments can be planned with the help of normal distribution, or you plan in such a way that your data should be normally distributed. It is highly useful in statistical quality control in industry for setting up the control limit. So with the help of this normal distribution, you can set up the control limit. So this much, if a particular product is falling under these limits, then it's okay, otherwise we will discard it. It is very much used in finding out the probability of various sample results. So the probability of sample results can be obtained with the normal distribution. So these are the various applications. If you study, understand it, you do experiment, if you utilize normal distribution, then you will be getting much greater idea about the application of normal distribution curve. It is most often used in large sampling theory to find the estimate of parameter and confidence limit in the statistics. It also serves as approximation to binomial and Poisson distribution. So we will be seeing in the next slide how it is this normal distribution is the limiting form of binomial distribution as well as Poisson distribution. So what are those conditions that I will be discussing in the coming slides. So these are the applications of the normal distribution curve. Now, what are the relationship between binomial, Poisson and normal distribution? So normal distribution is the limiting case of binomial distribution with m is equal to np. What is m? M is the population parameter. So the normal distribution is the limiting case of binomial distribution with m is equal to mp when n is very large. If n is very large, whereas probability of occurrence of event p is close to 0. If probability of occurrence of an event p is close to 0, it is not 0 but it is close to 0, that means q is equal to 1 minus P will be negligible. In that and the n number of event is very large. In such cases, normal distribution will be nearing to the binomial. Normal distribution is the limiting form of binomial distribution. Now another condition, the normal distribution is limiting case of Poisson distribution when its m is infinitely large. That means the population parameter, that is mean or standard deviation. If mean or standard deviation is very large, this normal distribution is the limiting case of Poisson distribution. So this is the relationship between normal distribution and binomial distribution, as well as normal distribution and Poisson distribution. Now another concept I have already told you in the first one or two slides, or first or second or third slides, that normal distribution curve is not a single curve, but it is a group of curve. So if there is lot many curves, then it will be very difficult to get something interpreted with those group of curve. So to solve this problem, the concept of a standard normal distribution came. That means we have to convert the normal distribution curve into a standard normal distribution curve. So the area under normal curve gives the proportion of cases falling between two numbers, or probability of getting values between the two numbers. So we know that the use of what normal distribution curve is giving, the area between the 2 points. Suppose these are the 2 points. So these are the 2 points. So what it is giving? It is giving the number of items falling between these 2 points. Or what is the probability of getting a particular observation within those 2 points? So these are the things that we are getting idea from the normal distribution curve. The equation of normal curve depends on mean and standard deviation. We have already seen the equation of normal curve. So it was depending on the mean and standard deviation, and for different value of mean and standard deviation we will obtain different curves. That already I have told you. So it is a group of curve. So what we need to standardize the data. So standardization of data will solve this problem, and there will be only one curve which will determine the area under curve. So once we will standardize the curve, then with the help of single curve we can get the interpretation of the observation. So what we will do, we will be able to determine the normal curve area regardless of its mean and standard deviation by tabulating only area under the standard normal curve. So we will form one standard normal curve which is having 0 mean and 1 standard deviation. 0 mean and 1 standard deviation, that means a standardized normal curve. A standardized normal curve, that is a standard normal curve. So a normal curve with mean x bar and standard deviation sigma can be converted into standard normal distribution by changing scale, that is from x scale to z scale, which is called also known as z transformation. So the definition, the formula for z transformation is z is equal to x minus x bar. X means the observation, any of the observation, minus x bar divided by its standard deviation. If you consider x minus x bar as x, then the formula will be x by the standard deviation. That means difference between the mean and the observation is getting standardized. So this was about the standardization of or standard normal curve. So in this way we will get the standard normal curve. Now just we will see one example of construction of standard normal distribution curve. So let us take one theoretical example. Assume a theoretical normal distribution of annual wool yield in Bikaner sheep is having mean of 1200 gram and standard deviation of 50 gram. Now we have to transform the wool yield from X scale to Z scale. That means we want to do the Z transformation. That means we want to convert the normal distribution curve into standard normal distribution curve. So for that we have to apply the formula Z is equal to X minus mu divided by standard deviation. So here I have already mentioned that the individual sheep, suppose we have to convert it for an individual sheep having wool yield as 1275. So what we will do, 1275 minus 1200 divided by 50, which that means it will be Z score will be coming to 1.5. So what this Z score will indicate is that this shows that wool yield of 1275 gram is 1.5 standard deviation above the mu 1200 gram. So if Z score is 1.5, that means the mean of 1275 will be at distance of 1.5 standard deviation from the standard mean, from the mean which was 1200 gram. So the difference between normal distribution curve and standard normal distribution curve is that the curve that the value X, that is 1275, will correspond to Z is equal to 1.5. So this value 1275, we don't have to construct a new graph, but we have to draw equivalent, and it will be equivalent to 1.5 of the normal curve. So this was about the preparation of standard normal distribution curve. So with this class on normal distribution I will be finishing the class on normal distribution curve, and in next class we will see another topic, probably a fresh topic. Thank you.